structured approach to assessing and selecting enterprise software. Well, joining us to speak about that today from Technology Evaluation Centers is Lorne Goloff, Vice President of Selection Services. Lorne, welcome.
Thank you, Russell.
Well, I guess maybe our threshold question ought to be just exactly what is TEC, what is Technology Evaluation Centers, and what does it do? What are the services that it offers?
Well, Technology Evaluation Centers is an advisory services organization providing companies around the globe with decision-making support. So we help companies make decisions with respect to enterprise software. We have a host of services from self-serve to full-serve with boots on the street that really satisfy the differing needs of the corporate community with respect to software assessment of their existing capabilities or selection of new software applications.
So if I'm a potential client and I come to you, my question to you is, what are the benefits that I'm going to get from the services that you offer? What are you going to tell me?
Well, I mean, the ultimate benefit of a selection certainly is a successful implementation. One at a total cost of ownership that meets or falls within the budgetary constraints of a given organization. So the overriding benefit is a successful implementation and one that is achieved at a total cost of ownership that meets the budgetary constraints of an organization. Those are the ultimate benefits of working with Technology Evaluation Centers.
And is there a typical organization that will benefit from the services that are offered by TEC?
I mean, ultimately, we cater to corporations of any size. Because we're internet-based, we cater to a global community. So the answer really is no, there's no typical profile, if you will, of an organization, albeit depending on the size of a company, we'll satisfy different needs, whether it's information, whether it's a structured approach, whether it is technology, decision-making technology to help support the initiative, or supplementary services or bodies, if you will, experts in the decision-making process.
You know, the very existence of an organization like TEC suggests that if I want to assess and select enterprise software on my own, that I'm going to face some real challenges. What would be typical primary challenges of an organization when they're involved in that assessment and evaluation selection process?
Well, there's many challenges, probably far too many to discuss at this time, but some of the overarching issues that companies face are how do we manage the inclusion of a broad cross-section of employees to gather functional and technical needs that will be the basis for the evaluation. That's probably the overarching challenge. So because of our structured approach, because of our experience and the number of projects that we've helped companies undertake over the years, we know how to help companies maximize the inclusion of a broad cross-section of people while helping them maintain their day jobs. Because ultimately, the ongoing activities of the business are important to the organization, so we help them channel and optimize, if you will, the participation of a broad cross-section of people throughout the organization.
We talked at the beginning of the interview about a structured approach, and you just mentioned that phrase once again. And perhaps we need to spend a little time defining what we mean by that. Structured approach, how is that different from the studied, prepared approach that somebody else might be contemplating?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, the typical consulting organization, really throws full-time equivalents at a given project. So the more people we throw at a project, the more we can charge, and so on and so forth. Our approach is a little more scientific. So we leverage our experiences. We leverage our clients' projects that we've supported in the past. We leverage our rich database of features and functions across different functional application areas. And all of this is to really help expedite a comprehensive assessment or selection while minimizing the time and minimizing the resource involvement from a given organization.
Let's turn to the applications and software categories. What would you say are the main categories of applications and software that you evaluate?
Well, traditionally, ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, is probably the mainstay in terms of applications we help companies assess or select. But given the entrenched nature of many ERP solutions within organizations, today they're looking for point solutions, or we'll call it rich feature functionality outside of the typical ERP solution. So for example, it could be electronic content management in today's day and age is very important, or business performance management, the topic of big data. Where do the different data elements come from, and which should be prioritized over others, and so on and so forth.
Perhaps the answer to this next question turns upon the specific type of solution that I'm interested in, but can you characterize for us, can you describe a typical TEC engagement scenario? How would that go?
Certainly. I mean, regardless of the level of involvement, if you will, of technology evaluation centers, to a basic project, we bring 4 components. So the first is a rich functional and technical requirement set. So features and functions of software for a given application area. Then we bring our technology, our Tech Advisor decision support software that really helps bring these features and functions to life and allows for the inclusion of priorities and vendor support capabilities of these items. And then, of course, there's that structured methodology, which isn't rocket science. It's about what activities to perform and in what order, and making sure that there's validations throughout the process. And lastly, there's our expertise, our personnel that have worked with companies across the globe of varying sizes and in varying industries that bring their shared experiences through our structured approach to help future clients with their assessment and selection projects.
You've intrigued me. In fact, I think you may have signed me up as a client. I want to go forward with an implementation. The question I have for you is, because I want to make sure that TEC is up to date. So how do you go about gathering and maintaining the research material that you as an organization and that your staff people, your analysts, need to ensure that they're up to the minute?
Well, we have 2 basic databases. Okay, the first is our public database, which is looking at a cross-section of, we'll call it best practice feature functionality from the different vendor solutions. And we typically update that with major releases from the software vendors. But the most, indicative element of how we update our data is through projects that we undertake. So when we're hired by a given company to support a project, we'll go to vendors with the custom requirements for that particular mandate. And once we've gathered that information, we have ways and means to easily update our public databases where and as need be.
Great overview in a process that clearly is not something that a company needs to undertake on its own. Lorne, I realize that you're busy, but you found time to meet with us, sit down and speak with us about this subject. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome, Russell.
That's Lorne Goloff, Technology Evaluation Centers, and speaking with us today about a structured approach to assessing, evaluating, and selecting enterprise software. Thank you for watching.